Are you there, Oscar?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. How are you?
No problem at all. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. What a privilege to speak with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely no problem at all. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, pleasure indeed. And strangely, I'm compelled to thank you for all of your tremendous work we've enjoyed for so long, the videos, the music, and now finally a tour in Australia. How magnificent.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. Ostensibly, Hammerfall in the early days was a sideline project, or so it would appear, for everyone involved. As a sole constant member, what made you persevere through so many lineup changes and keep the band headed forward?
Well, the thing with that is, it's true what you're saying to a certain extent, but we were never. I mean, we were, the only reason we did this on the side was because we thought that nobody else cared. You know, we did this just because we love heavy metal. We wanted to play the music that we love to watch and listen to because nobody else was doing it. So we didn't get any outlet for it. So that's why we started Hammerfall in the first place. And when we sort of got the album deal and things started rolling, it really started snowballing really quickly for us. And once that happened, we already had a stable lineup in place. So then, which actually was stable for 10 years. That's a lie. Actually, we changed the drummers, but still, anyway, we had some member changes, but it was basically, you know, Hammerfall was moving forward with or without those people, so it didn't really matter. You know, we knew what we were wanting to do, and we felt that we had finally found other people similar to us who wanted us to share our music with them, basically, because they too loved melodic heavy metal. So that's basically how we started out, and still to this day, that's the reason we continue, because we love what we do.
Indeed, an immovable, unstoppable force. There's no two ways about it. You entered into the Nuclear Blast family in 1997, and really, that was the major launch of Hammerfall. How did that feel at the time? Do you recall?
Yeah, I remember most of it, I guess, but you know, back in those days, I have some faxes that Marcus Steiger, the boss of Nuclear Blast, was sending us. You know, like, I heard your album, I really like it, I want to sign it, you know, all that stuff. I still have those, which is pretty cool. So those things I remember. But you have to also realize that Nuclear Blast back in '97, this was in January '97, he sent us the first fax. That was a completely different record label than they are now. I think that bands like Hammerfall and Dimmu Borgir and who else was there at that time? Well, whoever else was there in the early days, we were the ones who helped build Nuclear Blast together with them building us as well, of course. You know, it's a mutual beneficial agreement there. But Nuclear Blast was a smaller label back then, basically. That's what I'm saying.
Indeed. And as you say, a symbiotic relationship you were building together at the time.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Perfect. That's exactly what I meant. but so we grew together, basically. And now then they signed more and more bigger bands. And I mean, back in '97, for them to have signed Halloween was, for example, just an example. But that would be completely out of the question. I think from both label side, they would never. I don't even know if they would dream about it. And from the band or the management of Halloween side, they would never accept it. It would never happen back in those days. So for them to sign bigger and bigger bands over the years, and now they're actually a powerhouse in the metal industry now, which is great, of course. But yeah, it's really good. But that's what it was like. This is what I'm trying to get at. That's what it was like back then. You know, we were. They didn't have that many bands, and they didn't have that many successful bands. So at least not on the level that Dimmu Borgir and Hammerfall brought to them. So it was a different time for sure.
You must feel like a parent to a certain degree with Nuclear Blast.
Well, I think a little bit. I mean, we have been with them. It's 18 years now. We have never been with another record company, and I guess that says a lot about how they've treated us over the years. but having said that, for the first time in our whole lives, we are without a contract right now. We're of course in negotiations with them, but previously they've always extended our, like we have 2 more albums left on the contract, and then we extended it for another 3, so it will be 5. And so it never really ran out, you know what I mean, right? The contract. But this time it did run out. So now we're dealing with them to try to get a new deal. So it's likely, I guess, but not 100% sure that we will that our next album will be out on Nuclear Blast. But I mean, I have no problem with them. I love them, so I hope it will be. But it's a matter of contract negotiations now.
Absolutely. And during that year of 97, everything happened so fast. You had made it. You're established in Europe, US, Japan. What was that ride like in 2007? Was it a whirlwind of activity?
Yeah, in a lot of ways. I mean, I remember thinking, like, in the early 2000, maybe 2002 or 1 or something like that, like several years after, anyway, that, man, this now I'm starting to calm down a little bit, but everything was so, it was just like a snowball that took us with it, basically. It was, or a whirlwind, it's maybe a better example. We were just, whisked along for the ride, it felt like sometimes.
Yeah, of course. And of course, we're utterly thrilled that you're coming to see us in October, and please don't cancel. But why just the one show?
Well, I understand this question comes up all the time. But the thing is, well, we were going to do the Loud Park Festival in Japan anyway. We were booked for that for a while. And so we said, why not try to make, instead of just going to Japan for one show and back, why not try to do some sort of shows in Asia and maybe Australia if they'll have us as well, because it's at least on the same, is it longitude or latitude?
Probably latitude.
Yeah, okay. At least it's on the same latitude then. But so we had a promoter, or our booking agency had a promoter that they have done other shows with in Australia, and he said, I think we should do one show, and then we'll see how that goes. If it's a success, we can bring you back for more shows. So, of course, being, we trust the booking agency and the promoter in Australia that they know what they're doing, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't employ them. So this is why there's only one show is because we were already there, and we wanted to test the waters, to dip our toes in the waters, and if it's a success, then if people want us to come back, we will try to come back for a full tour later on.
That would be wonderful. I can tell you from a metal community point of view, the reaction was astounding. Just everybody saying, my God, Hammerfall are coming.
Yeah, I hope that's going to be the reaction when we get there, because it's going to be the reaction for us too. It's going to be a little bit surreal to finally be on Australian soil, but it's going to happen. Believe it.
Wonderful stuff. So what can we expect from the Australian show besides raw, unbridled, awesome?
Well, I guess you can expect a better Hammerfall than anybody has ever seen. Right now, I think we are live a better band than we have ever been before as Hammerfall. It really is one of those when everything just clicks, basically. That's where we are right now. We've done a lot of shows on this tour already. This is going to be at the tail end of the tour, which in some cases it's not always the best, because then you get some people who are tired of it and want to go home or whatever. But for us right now, I mean, I feel like I could continue touring for a couple of years. That's how excited I am about all the stuff that we're doing. And now couple that in with the fact that we're going to go to Australia for the first time, I think people can expect a Hammerfall that has never, ever been better.
Absolutely wonderful. I'm sorry about the short delay in the call there. I remember back in 2001 with Renegade, there was a extremely fast turnaround with that album and a changing sound. What was the reasoning behind that sound change?
Well, I think what you call sound, I would call production, because that's the main thing that differed between Legacy of Kings and Renegade. Is we instead of recording with Fredrik Nordström here in Gothenburg, we went to Nashville to record with Michael Wagner, and he had more of an American approach to the sound, I guess. than Fredrik had. Fredrik has more of a I don't know, heavy metal approach to the sound or the production. But the thing is with those two albums, Renegade, when it came out, were a lot of people who complained about it. But if you look at the sales figures, Renegade is the best-selling album we ever did. So, you know, you can't listen to people. That's why I've never listened to what people are saying. You know, if they don't like it, fine, I don't care. But I know why we do the things that we do. And I don't agree with you that it was a style change. I think we just evolved the sound that we had. What basically, okay, maybe I can give you this. On the first two albums we had, I think half of the songs were really fast ones, and that's something I wanted to get away from, to get more diversity in the albums. I don't think I really succeeded until with Crimson Thunder, the album after Renegade. But Renegade was a start for that. They still have some fast songs as well, but with Crimson Thunder, that's when I learned how to write an album and not just 10 songs and let's record them. You know, I wanted to have an album that is as good as Somewhere in Time with Iron Maiden, where all the songs are fantastic and there are no low points. Maybe not as many high points as you have on, for example, The Number of the Beast, but certainly no low points that you actually do have on Number of the Beast. And this is what I felt like the variety would give us that. And that's the formula we've been working on ever since.
Wow. And look, is there any chance that we could see a copy of Legenden on Hammerfall in English?
You know, this is something that bothers me a lot because I've been on the publisher, I don't know how many times, to try to get it translated, at least into German. You know, we have a big German market. We have a big German tour coming up in January this year that we just did. Yeah, but they don't do anything about it. I think it's as anything. I guess it's a matter of money. Don't want to invest it or whatever. I don't know, but I don't understand why it's not out yet. I think they missed a huge opportunity when we did because the tour that we did in January and February this year was a lot in Germany, and I think almost half of the shows were sold out, and several were sold out before we even started the tour. So this was a really successful tour, and they made a huge mistake in not having the book available for Germans to buy at the shows. Then this is something I've told them, and they just go, oh yeah, I know, you know. Blah. So I don't know what to do anymore. English would be great, but hopefully it will come out in English eventually. But I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh, we can't wait. It'd be fantastic if it did. It'd be a bestseller. There's no two ways about it. I have to ask you, what brought Fredrik back after a massive 10-year break?
Well, Magnus quit the band basically a day or 2 days after the tour that we did in the European tour. It was in March, I believe, of 2007. And that we had a couple of months, maybe 2 months before we had another show booked. So we had a couple of months to find somebody. And I've known Fredrik since many years before Hammerfall as well. I've known him since we played together in a band called Crystal Age in the early 90s. And we kept in touch, of course, being friends and living in the same city. And Joachim had Fredrik as a bass player on his solo tour that we did in 2003, maybe. I think that was when I was, 2003 he did a solo tour. And then Fredrik was playing that bass. So he also kept in touch with him a little bit. So whenever, when we had the need for a new bass player, basically, Fredrik was one of the guys we called. Would you like to audition with us and come back if that works out? And so he did. He was one of a couple of people that we had auditions with, and we chose him.
Wonderful stuff, and we're so pleased that he did come back. But I have to ask you, and I really need to apologise for this question because I don't wish it to come across the wrong way, but how does it feel to know that you've been the catalyst and inspiration for a countless army of bands and artists?
It feels really good on one level because it feels good on all levels. But for me, as having fought for heavy metal for such a long time, I mean that's the main reason that we started Hammerfall. Like I said before, there was nobody else doing this sort of thing. We loved it, so we wanted to bring it back to the masses. Oh, well, not to the masses, but we wanted to show people that this is what we love, this is what we do, and like it or love it or hate it, I don't care. But as we realized that more and more people were actually into this sort of music, that there was people outside of our little group that liked melodic heavy metal. It became more of a mission, more of a crusade to open up people's minds, and especially in Sweden, because we lived in Sweden, we knew Sweden, we didn't know any other country, like the music scene in any other country back then, obviously. But then you got to know it, you realize that this is something worth. It's worth fighting for yourself, but it's also worth fighting for. Because I knew that people who, if they just opened their eyes or ears a little bit and not took it, if they took it at face value, I think is what you say, right? If you see it for what it is and not for what your conceptions of it, your preconceptions of it are, then you would like it, or at least there would be more people into it than right now. And that, I think that's what we've been saying all along. And that is what I'm the most proud of anything we have ever done, is that we have helped heavy metal become a strong force again, the strong force that it, in my opinion, deserves to be.
Yes, indeed. And your video clips added one extra dimension to that too. Is there a particular clip that you are most proud of?
I think there are three clips that I'm very proud of, and the first one is of course Renegade, because nobody was doing that sort of thing back then. When we did Renegade, we had a clear vision. We want to have an action movie inside of a video format. That's what our goal was, and we're lucky enough to work with people who could realize this dream for us for the little small budget that we actually had to work with, which was really great for us. And so Renegade stands out in that respect. I think as far as videos go, for Bloodbound, that was one of the coolest ones that we have ever done, when we were playing on top of a huge hammer. I thought that looked really, really great. And also I liked the last video that we did, for Hector's Human, because I like that idea of the album covers coming alive inside of the video. I thought that was a brilliant idea.
It is sensational indeed. And, of course, you had a significant break before coming back with an absolute vengeance with Evolution. Was it a break that was desperately needed?
Yes. I say this now, and in retrospect, yes, it was desperately needed. I don't think we realized how desperately needed it was back then, but we did it because we wanted to, we needed to bring back the fun in everything. I mean, the fun wasn't gone, but it was going, if you know what I mean. We were having less and less fun all the time, and we just wanted to find the fire again and all that. And I think that having the ability, like Joachim, for example, he was doing something he's been dreaming of since he was young, to be a part of a musical. He did that for a year and a half, and for him that was like the best thing that could happen for him, because he got to focus on something that was completely different from Hammerfall, but still in the music genre. He was singing and acting actually as well. So for him, and that was like the perfect thing to do. And for me, it was necessary as well, even though I didn't really realize it. But there was a lot of things that were grating on you, you know, like things that took away the fun of doing things. And once you got a bit of a distance and you had some perspective on everything. And that's also when the time I chose to write the book of Hammerfall, the Legend of Hammerfall. Yeah. That also took me down memory lane a lot, which made me appreciate what we had a lot more too. So yes, short answer is yes, it was vital, this break that we took.
Did you find that it was long into the break before you felt the creative side of you beckoning you back to studio or performing?
Not yeah. Well, yes and no, I guess, because I was working on the book. That took a lot of my creativity. So when I was close to finishing the book, I wanted to start to record music again. I felt the itch to do that, but I forced myself to not do that until I had finished the book, because I didn't want to do both things simultaneously, because I wanted to focus all the creativity on one thing, and then when I was done with that, I go to the next one and focus all my creativity on that one. And because of that, when I started writing songs, I had sort of suppressed the songwriting feeling for a while. It came out in force. It was like there was a lot of stuff that wanted to come out, and it was really interesting to see that development. But it was fun too. So for me, when I once I guess it's like a little bit abstaining from something that only makes you want it more, and that's basically the way it worked for me then.
Oh, wow. And can you feel the enthusiasm building now for this Australian visit via social media or anything like that?
Absolutely. I mean, we have been around for a long time, and people have been asking us every year, every tour, when are you going to come to Australia? And we've never been able to so far. So I think that the enthusiasm for that, even if we were really tired after a long tour and wanted to the tour to end, I think going to Australia would be enough to energize us. And now couple that with the fact that we actually are in the middle of a tour that we're really happy about and really energetic about already, I think it's going to be insane in October.
It will be too, and we cannot wait to see you. The enthusiasm here, as I say, I can assure you, is absolutely overwhelming. You've brought us so much pleasure over so many years with the videos and the music. Again, I'm compelled to thank you for it.
Well, I'm happy that we have made your viewing and listening to music better. I'm really happy to hear that.
Indeed, and I know I'm not alone, but it's been such a pleasure to speak with you and giving us your insights, and I cannot wait to read your book in English.
I'm going to actually, when we're done with this, I'm going to send them an email, and because I haven't done that in a while, just to see where they are with this translation bullshit, because it needs to come out. I agree with you. It needs to come out.
I think so. It's such a tremendous read for so many people. But look, we look forward to seeing you in Australia. Cannot wait for your performance. And please travel safely so you get here to us finally in fine form.
Absolutely. I promise you, we'll take it easy until then. So there will be no cancellations or anything. Don't worry.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Oscar, and thank you again for your time today.
No problem. It was nice talking to you. Take care.
You too.
See you in October.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.